Evening, everybody. Yeah, YouTube screen was looking a little bit different today. It took me a minute to navigate it. I have a little system usually that works for me. It's just bang, 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 and I'm live. But today, yeah, I should allow a little bit extra time for these things. I know that YouTube updates quite often, and I knew something was coming. I wasn't quite sure what it is, but say hi. Drop in, let me know where you're from, how your day is going, how's your weather. Owen's here, Andrew's here. Awesome, off to a good start. Pop into the live if you want to chit chat. Come in, introduce yourselves. I have some great moderators here. They tend to yap a whole bunch more than I do, but quite often I kind of get into the flow of things and I start yabbering away. And they sometimes have to get my attention into the conversation again, but I always pop back in to see what everybody's been yapping about. And I tend to like to put my 2 cents in too, right? Because this is a get together that we've done on YouTube for a few years now, and it has been going so good. I really like my crew. I really love my crew in actuality. But yeah, what a week. I'm getting ready to go on a trip, you guys. I'm getting ready to go on a trip, and I want to make a few adjustments in my life to accommodate that. Obviously, there's things that I need to get done and things I need, like technically need, in order to make this trip happen. And one of those things, well, you guys know last year, if you guys have been hanging out with me for any length of time, you know I got my camera gear was all, let's say, borrowed along with my bike. And I lost my camera gear and I lost my bike. It seems at work, a camcorder came in. Now it's an older one. It's actuality, it's an older one than the model I even had, but at the time it was the highest quality. So in the time of my camera, it wasn't the highest quality. It was what I could afford. But in its day, this camera was really good. It's over 10 years old. This camera, it's 11 or 12 years old. But it's a camcorder, just like my old one, you guys. It's for my trip. I can also do some vlogging with it, so I can sit in front of the camera. I can make some videos. On top of that, it fits my tripod, my monopod. I just started going through some of my gear to see what I want to take with me. Some things, obviously is a little bit out of date, but I do have things that are going to come in handy dandy, like this item that came in this week, brand new in the box. It's like the universe wants me to go on this trip, right? And is making the little items, the little miracles, the little things. As long as I'm moving towards this trip happening, things will fall into place. And I did need a clip for my phone. And this isn't something I'll be needing to order off on Amazon because I've got one already. I had one, but I glued it together a couple of times because I take them in my backpack all the time, and I have it hooked to my monopod. My monopod sticks out of my pack. So when I go through the bush and stuff, the branches, quite often I can hear it when it takes out my clip, and then I go find my part on the ground, and then I always just glue it back together. But yeah, I definitely needed one. Another thing that I'm going to need on my trip is my power pack, and this came brand new. It hasn't even been opened yet. It's sealed in the box, and this came in today, and I'm going to need that extra power. I'll be charging everything on probably in the cigarette lighter. I'll have to dig out my adapters that I know are in this bag. Like I said, I have to go through this bag and find everything I need for this trip. So I'm really happy about that. I found my hard drive in the process, you guys. These are all my videos, all my urban exploration videos are stored on this, you guys. I can use this for clips and making content, and I can do voiceover and make some amazing video right out of some of these clips. Now I know I have to convert everything because yeah, this camera too is ABC HD, right? So yeah, different format altogether. It's a pretty large package if I try to edit it. Actually, I don't even think you can edit that. You have to convert it before you edit it. You have to convert it to MP3 form. Let me know if the sound is okay, you guys. Let me know if the sound is okay. Okay, let's come in and check out some of these comments before I start yabbering away, going off on something else. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Owen. Thanks as usual for popping in on Sunday nights. As always a pleasure to have you here, helping me out, because I always have big yappers. I always have big conversations going on, and you keep such good track, and you always make everybody feel so welcome, right? That's the best thing about the people who come and hang out here. Now, it takes a few minutes sometimes for YouTube to get the message out, some notifications out to my subscribers, but eventually everybody pops in. But yeah, let's see what everybody's up to here. Oh, okay. So you're starting your physio now, Andrew. Really, that's a good sign that they think you're strong enough to start that physio, right? Get back in shape, maybe in better shape than what you were in before. Maybe this was a little bit of a wake-up call. Hey, Andrew, right? Just to take care of yourself physically a little bit better. But you took pretty good care of yourself before, right? You were riding your bike, you were going for walks, right? That you had problems with your legs. You always had issues with your legs. But maybe this is an opportunity to overcome some of the issues that you had. So maybe, there was a little bit of a gift in that disastrous situation that you got yourself in. I'd like to think so anyway, that some good comes out of that bad situation. Yeah, that must have been out. I can't believe you never missed a live through that whole process, Andrew. Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing, Andrew, if we can get you back into some long walks? Definitely get yourself outdoors a little bit more. I'd like to see this world settle down a little bit for a little while before we get thrown into the hairy scary again, right? It's like when winter goes away here in Winnipeg. Usually in March we have a couple of days together where everything goes into a really, really fast melt, right? People get outside their houses and they start raking up last year's frozen leaves that they didn't get to, start getting some housework done. But it's a fault spring, those couple of days. And we know this here. It happens every single year. And yet we get suckered into it every single year because we're so excited. We're so enthusiastic for spring and summer to come that we actually get suckered into it every year. And winter comes right back. And sometimes with a force, sometimes with a reckoning, right? Worse than the whole winter that we just had, right? Yeah. It's Mother Nature, right? We just adapt to it. We just adapt to it. Yeah, Andrew, you've got this. You've got this 100%, you guys. Like I said on this channel, so many people have gotten help that they've needed, whether it's emotionally, financially in some cases, right? But for the most part, just in keeping company with each other. And that's what I'm most grateful for, right? That I've been able to come through this and have these little what are they, right? They're just gatherings. They're just getting together and just, keeping company and having a place to unload some of those issues that we have during the week. Just to feel like there's people out there who actually care, right? Like actually care. And you could believe me, yeah, this crew cares 100%. I've seen it. I've seen it in action. I truly have seen it in action. I haven't done any more work yet on your stick, Andrew. Today I was washing the apartment corner to corner. It's very important that I keep my place clean. I don't want to be ending up having problems here. And yeah, I certainly don't want to have people in my apartment or anything. But at the same time, getting through, organizing. Like I said, I have this big bag full of camera gear that I'm about to go through and sort out to see what I'm going to need for my trip. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing some bottle digging. You guys, I got some amazing things. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah. Um, I got some amazing things at my work this week. I would never be able to afford this, to buy this, you guys, but this came across in the store and I fell in love with it immediately. And it's going to stay with me forever just because I'd never be able to afford something. But I'm going to go digging for my own, you guys. Look what I got. Look what came into the store. Look at that beauty. I actually had one of the professors from the University of Manitoba. He's actually, I think, the president of the Manitoba Rock Hounding or something. They have meetings at the Manitoba Museum, right? And he came into the store and I let him look at it. And he said it was an amazing specimen. He told me what it was worth. And when he told me what it was worth, like, something like this, I would never be so frivolous as to spend money for, right? I got this very inexpensively, and I'm grateful for it. But yeah, this is something that I'll never come across again, and I'd never be able to afford for myself. I would never spend that kind of money on a luxury like this. This is something that I consider a luxury. Isn't that an amazing crystal? Isn't that amazing, you guys? I got it for $2.50. It actually came with a stand, and I was trying to put it on the stand, but the stand needs more. There it is. The stand needs some rubber washers inside, so it doesn't ruin. My crystal. But see, the crystal actually can get locked inside here. It was $2.50 for everything, for the display and the crystals. But I took the crystal off to wash it and to wash any, right? You don't want to have somebody else's mojo all over your crystal. So I did a little bath thing for it, and I was all ready to put it back on, but I could see that if I screw that on, it's going to chip away and bite into my crystal. So those little black rubber things on the inside there need to be replaced. So I just put that off to the side. And then on top of that, I got another crystal, you guys. Look at this crystal that I got. This is called saltine, and it's from China. This one's made in China, and they kind of carved it in a little pyramid. I got this one for 25 cents. I got this one for $2.50. And that the president of the what is it? Rock and Mineral Society. He said it was worth hundreds of dollars. He said it was worth hundreds of dollars. He said it was a magnificent, those were his exact words, magnificent specimen, he said. Right? Take a look at that. Isn't it beautiful? He said it was double terminated. And that's right here is where it hung from the ceiling. You guys, I'm going mining in September, right? Like the things, like the little miracles, the little confirmations from the universe, right? With these things that I need, these things that are just kind of popping into my life now for this trip to confirm, yes, Cindy, you can get excited because this is what I need to do. I need to feel excited about something, right? I need to feel, I want to really understand where I want to go with my brand. I've been away from the urban exploring. I've been away from the back roads, right? I want to see if some of these new things and these new ideas that I've been delving into, right, in the mindset, in the mindfulness, in taking more of a responsibility for my own movement forward in the choices that I make in my life, right? So these are things that I want to deep ponder, but I can't do it in this. This is too, I'm not saying busy because I'm looking out the window and there's nobody. There's no busy. There's no loudness. There's nobody yelling at me, right? I'm trying to think of the things that trigger me, right? And I understand, I recognize the things that I'll be triggered by. It's not too much, but one of the things that triggers me is getting yelled at. And I've been practicing taking control of that, right? Trying to block it out when it happens, when people get yelled at me, and to try and let it just kind of wash over me and not take responsibility and don't take on ownership of when it happens, right? But it's hard to sometimes because sometimes there is a contribution of insight that is expected, right? So you have no choice but to voice an opinion or voice a, right, okay, like give up, like surrender to it, right, to somebody else's idea, even if I think differently. And I don't want to be around that constant, and this is why I search out these breaks in my life. But these breaks are important, and I think that more people out there should be taking these breaks to be able to motivate themselves and find ways, even if they're in kind of their own lockdown in life because they're caregivers or they're in a point where they got rehabilitation going on, and it doesn't call for jumping on a bike right this moment and going to town, right? Right, baby steps sometimes, right? So it's just, I don't know, I've just been deep in thought, right? It's what I like to do. I take full advantage of it when it's my days off to try and do as much catch up as I can, right? And I let some things suffer in my life, like keeping connected with the outside world and stuff, because I'm connecting into the lessons, right? I'm trying to delve deep into the whys of my life, right? And to the where to's as to where I want to go and to what I believe in and what I put my energy into, right? And then I also want to make sure that I'm having fun. And if I'm doing things that aren't so fun, how can we add fun? How can we make it so that it is fun, right? Yeah. Just moving forward, just evolution stuff, right? It's really heavy. We can see with our very own eyes, with all the hairy scaries and all the problems that have been going on in the world in the past couple of years. It's really easy to see that things are moving fast now, that things are moving fast there. And I think that's why we kind of hang out together, right? That as the world is moving fast, as we're going forward, that we're just kind of going together, right? We're just keeping company. We're enjoying, maybe not even enjoying the ride, but it's making the ride more bearable, right? To be around people that we care for, that we've gotten to know, that people that we can trust and depend on. And we do this every Sunday, and we've been doing this every Sunday for years now. And it's amazing how we stuck together the way that we have. Yeah, I really truly love you guys. And I don't know what you guys see in me, right? I show up every Sunday, right? No explore for you, just the yibber yabber, right? Just me yapping away, and you guys just kind of come and hang out with me anyway, and it's very warming. It's very encouraging to think that, yeah, maybe we're making an impact on each other's lives. And like I said, that impact is just keeping company with each other, right? Just being there. It's like, when you get a visitor in the hospital and you're sitting beside the bed and you're holding their hand, right? You know? Yeah, it's like that. It's like that, and and then to come in and see how Owen is just pumping Andrew up, and is getting back on his feet, right? And putting that extra work in, and having that courage, right? Pumping him up, motivating him, letting him know that, hey, Andrew, you can do this, right? You can do this, and just think of the benefits are. You're going to feel so much better. You're going to feel better than when all of this all happened, right? It was a bad thing, but maybe there was a little gift in it in the end, right? Yeah, that's my biggest trigger, Andrew, is the yelling. I don't do it well, but it's really kind of good because I have people who yell at me in my life. I do, my sister yells at me every once in a while, hasn't for a very long time, but she used to yell at me quite a bit. My mother yelled at me all the time, like all the time. And then you work with people and stuff that have excited personalities, right? That like to voice things. And after a while, you can kind of block it. But then when you go home, you unload that package, and what does it do? It just makes you miserable. But I always have this trigger, and this trigger that happens to me is my eyes go buggy, right? I get very emotional. I could burst into tears, right? Because this is my way of trying to deflect pain, right? Is to say, oh, well, maybe they'll think that she's had enough and they won't punish me more by yelling at me more and stuff. Or it helps them to recognize that they maybe overstepped a boundary that they shouldn't have, right? Right, you can't yell at people. Please don't do it. Like I'm a big campaigner for myself. That is one thing right, it gets me into trouble because I do stick up for myself. But because I was brought up to turn the other cheek, right? I had to be creative, and I made them lessons, right? Let the people know in a lesson that what they do to others, doesn't go without consequence, right? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm a loud person, Owen. I'm a loud person. Definitely. I could get quite loud, especially right now, like when I do my videos and stuff. I tend to over talk loud, and I also try and do it a little bit slower because I know that that's a habit that's coming from my Instagram, because I've been teaching. Well, I'm not teaching, but I guess people are learning through my live shows that I do every day on Instagram. People pop in and they listen to my lives, and sometimes they join in, and it's usually a lot of people who are actually learning to speak English, and I've been enjoying that. I mean, it's different, right? But we have conversations, and when we do it, and I make sure that those conversations are important conversations, right? On the topics that I'm interested in and that they're interested in, and somehow possibly could lead into some kind of movement, hopefully on both our parts, right? But if not, hopefully on theirs, right? And making it an enjoyable experience. And I really do enjoy when people come live with me on my Instagram. You guys really should be with me on Instagram. I would love to do a live show with you, Owen, on Instagram. I would love to interview you, Owen, about your relationship with your mother and being a caregiver all these years, because normally that's the daughters are usually the ones that stay behind and take care of the parents when they get elderly, dependent in their needs, right? When it comes to their kids, it's usually, the daughters. And I expected that my sisters expected me to jump in and volunteer and move in with my mom, but no chance in H was that ever going to happen. I had that experience when my husband sent me to go live with my mom for 6 months while he did a tour in Croatia, and he made me go move in with my mom, and that was an experience. Now, it was beneficial in some ways because I got some answers to some important questions that I had that were interfering with my movement forward. It also gave me a lot of understanding to her personality and helped me to realize now, after reflecting back on it, that truly, yeah, she was on her own journey and she had her own struggles, right? And through our own choices, life just got kind of messy, kind of dependent, and kind of hurtful, right? Kind of hurtful. And yeah, it's relationships are a funny thing, but I've had many, many amazing, loving, wow, impactful relationships in my life, starting with my dad, obviously, right? Starting with my dad, obviously. But I had those relationships with my sister Tracy, right? She was very impactful, and I loved her the same way as I loved my dad. There were friends in my lives and men in my life that I loved, right? Everybody was loved, but loved differently, right? Differently. And even right now, I love, right? Even right now, I love. But yeah, it's all guarded up and walled up, right? Because it's trust. That's what it is. You have to have that 100% trust. You don't want to keep jumping into things and making mistakes, right? At the time when I got involved in some of these relationships with my girlfriends or the boys in my life or my husband, right? Yeah, they were all by my own choices, and they were good relationships. They were good relationships right into the end. And even after, we stopped seeing each other, we still bumped into each other every once in a while. It was always a moment to catch up. It was always a moment to catch up. So yeah, even the way those friendships ended, for the most part, were beautiful. Were beautiful, right? Even through the heartbreak, and I think heartbreak is very beautiful, right? That just shows that you have a heart, right? That you can be vulnerable, and sometimes we kind of retreat into ourselves, which is what kind of sort of happened to me. But also, I didn't understand that my life was being dictated, right? In its movement, it was being dictated. And I fought against that. I fought against that. And I'm trying really hard now not to fight against that, right? I'm trying to go more with the flow of things, to kind of watch the serendipities, like the things that pop into my life that confirm the things that I plan on doing, right? That I'm working towards, the goals, the reverse engineering, all the things that I need. This is even a C connector. I have the Pixel, and yeah, it takes a C connector. I wish it took regular connectors because there's so many little appliances and doodads that you can get for your phones, right? If it was a little bit more universal, but it's not, right? It's kind of, I don't know, maybe treat it like a special club that I belong to or something. But I do like the Pixel, and I do like the way I don't have to worry about my photos or anything, right? I just take the photos and the videos that I want, and Google just takes care of it. And when I need that footage, it's already filed away for me safely, ready for me in good quality, right? High definition, right? Yeah. You have to pay for original quality, but I don't do 4K video, even though a 4K camera came into the store. My boss took it for the Chinese auction. I think that's an auction I'll bid on. I'll bid a reasonable price, but I'll bid what I'm willing to pay for it, right? Knowing its value, knowing that if I can't afford it, that it can move on and I won't lose any money. But, for this trip, if I could have something other, I love camcorders, you guys. I really do love camcorders. But, but, right, this is very old. It's very old. But, it's got the lenses, the wide angle lenses and the colored lenses and everything, all the cords and doodads and stuff. I'm going to order the lapel microphone for my YouTube videos, right? Because I'll be taping lots of YouTube videos when I'm on this trip. So I wanted a lapel wireless, something Bluetooth for my phone, so that I could make those videos, right? Well, for me, it'll be a day's drive. Technically, it's about a 8-hour drive to Thunder Bay from Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's about an 8-hour drive, but we're making videos. I'm going slow. I want to make this an experience. I'm going to make lots of stops across the rivers and the lakes. I'm going to do some rock hounding. I'm going to do some rock hounding. I want to do some more hiking. Oh, I did the most amazing. If you haven't seen that video, it's in my playlist. If you go to my playlist, it was the Walk With Me videos. And it was the one where I was doing the river walk in Ontario, when I went to Ontario. And it was amazing. So I would like to do some more of those trails. And I'm really connecting with Mother Nature. But I'll be filming it for you guys too, like the whole trip. Like I'm hoping a week or two before I actually leave that I could actually have videos ready to go. But I want to make sure that I secure the vehicle. Like I secure the vehicle once I know the vehicle is taken care of. And it will be. Right now is my concern is raising the money for the gas and for some groceries. And that's all I need. Gas and groceries. My paycheck will cover the cost of the car rental, so I'm not worried about that. But yeah, it looks like this will be okay. But what happens is there's a lot of sitting, right? There's a lot of sitting. So I still want to reverse engineer. I still want to keep this trip, right? High on mind, right? Crystals lying around the house. You guys, I'm going to be digging for amethyst. I've never been mining before. How exciting is that? How exciting is that? Right? And I'm going to make YouTube videos. Right? And that's something I can add on to my channel, right? Because what do I have on my channel? I have my mindset and my mindfulness live shows on Sunday nights. I have all my urban explorations, right? All the abandoned churches, all the one-room schoolhouses, all the farmhouses. I have those all online. I have my bushcraft videos, right? Remember Surviving Cindy? I have the Walk With Me's, right? The Walk With Me series where I actually go for walks and get connected with Mother Nature. What else do I have going on there? My back road explorers. I've got so much. And now I'm going to add mining. Mining, right? Did you guys look into Dragon Man, you guys? Did you look into Dragon Man, the skull that they found in China? I wanted to have a discussion about that tonight, right? They think it was because they only found a tooth of the Divinians, right? Which was another race of human beings, but they went extinct, right? So they were pretty excited to find out that there was another humanoid, but all they had was a tooth. So when they found Dragon Man and saw that it was right in between, they're put two and two together and they're wondering if maybe this is actually the skull of a Divinian, which has already been discovered, but maybe not, right? Oh yeah, Dragon Man. That is really interesting story, Andrew. The guy, he was in China and they were building a bridge in the 1930s. They were building a bridge and they just found Peking Man or something. They just found Peking Man, the skull, right? And it was a really big political uprisal going on at the same time. But he knew because of Peking Man that the skull he found was pretty interesting too. So he put it in his bag and he took it home with him. But he was all freaked out because of the political state of the country that he put it in the well, and he left it in the well for almost 80 years or something, right? But he just on his deathbed, he told his family about the skull. The family went and retrieved the skull and instantly recognized it was something important and donated it to the museums there in China. And they just released the results, and it certainly is. It's a new species, a human, but they haven't scratched out the possibility that it was a Divinian, because all they had was a tooth of that race, right? So they think that it might be because the teeth on this skull of Dragon Man is actually very similar to the tooth that they found of the Divinian. Yeah, stay tuned for that. It's really interesting. And the 15 elephants in China, you guys, if you guys didn't hear about that, that was really interesting, right? Oh, good, Andrew. I know you guys. I know you guys will like my explorers. I'm going to try and get some practice in, try and get a program down. One of the gentlemen's at work, I've given him two computers. He said he blew up one computer. I said, don't worry about it. Just trash it. And I started laughing just to let him know it's not a big deal. And I appreciate that he looked at it. And then what did I do? I took him another computer that somebody had left by the garbage. Somebody had dropped it, and there was a little bit of the corner where the speaker is was broken off. So he took it home with him, but I haven't heard from him since. So there's a possibility there might be something going on there. But if there isn't, not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Things will roll, just like everything here is just rolling into place. And where's my sleeve? I even have a power pack. It's an actually big wallet, and you open up the wallet, and it's actually a solar panel, and you could actually plug your device right into the solar panel. That's pretty cool. I really like that one. Yeah, I have no idea why I chose this. Well, I didn't have enough money, right? I wanted to go to the Middle East, but can't go to the Middle East with all that stuff going on right now. I just can't, right? It's not safe, right? But what kind of trip could I make, right? With a little bit of money, with a paycheck, what kind of trip could I make that would get me back on the road? Oh, you guys, something so cool. The Remax hot air balloon is floating right over. It's right in front of my face here. It's so cool. It's so exciting. Oh, it's beautiful, you guys. I wonder if my Wi-Fi would work from the roof of this building. I can go up on the roof, and if the Wi-Fi worked up there, right, that I could do a live show up there, and I could show you the beautiful city that I live on, right? Because I can upload to YouTube from my phone. I could do these lives from my phone, but I certainly don't want to do it on my data. That's for sure. I learned that lesson on my Instagram. They almost talked me into a new deal on my contract, right? To change my contract. That would have cost me lots of money because they charge you money for changing your contract. But they made it sound like I was going to get a real big bill. And in the end, I didn't get a big bill, right? Yeah. So I just have to be cautious. I just have to be aware, and I have to make sure that I'm using open Wi-Fi, and my Wi-Fi at work and my Wi-Fi here, right? And save on my data the best that I can, right? Mm. My family came from a place on my mother's side, came from a place called Mendlesham in Essex, England. lots of blue blood going on my mother's side, but a real mix going on my dad's side. I think my dad was actually a part of that railway gang that hung out with Billy the Kid and his sidekick. I don't know who his sidekick was. You'd know, Andrew. I don't remember, but yeah, I'm just looking at the hot air balloon. It's so cool. Um, what was I talking about? Yeah, so Billy the Kid. I was talking about Billy the Kid. I have no idea what I was talking about now. Yeah, I lost track because I was looking at the hot air balloon. You would never get me in a hot air balloon. Not in a million years. Would you? Oh, kicking, screaming, strapping me down. I probably would have a heart attack just out of fear, right? If I was going to have a panic attack, and I've never had a panic attack before. I have gotten very anxious, right? When somebody has made me try to do something that I don't want to do, I've gotten very anxious. But I don't think I've ever had an anxiety attack. But if I were to have one, definitely put me in a hot air balloon, and yeah, that would be pretty funny. There's a new hot post going on in Instagram right now. It keeps running through my feed, and it's getting spooked, right? Where people are just jumping and scaring the poop out of people when they're involved in something, the phone or something that they're doing or something, and people get really freaked out, and some people turn around. I am a smacker. No kidding. So if you're going to scare the poop out of me, you better be 3 feet away from me, because if I can reach you, I'm going to punch you. I'm going to punch you. And that's a reaction that I've gotten because my husband used to play these games with me all the time, right? I didn't like colored shower curtains and stuff for that movie Psycho, right? I'd always have clear shower curtains. Sometimes I wouldn't even use a shower curtain, right? And and my husband would like to play games with me when I was in the shower, and it freaked me out, right? And yeah, a couple of times I got him good when he got too close in it. And I played the same game too, because I would turn the hot water off on the main tank when he was in the shower, and he didn't like that too much either, right? So it was a game. It was fun. It was part of something that added a little bit of excitement to our relationship, playing these little antagonistic little games, right? And they were all done in love. It was always fun, right? Always fun, and it was a good way to de-stress, right? It was a good way to distress. For the most part, my husband was very very good at that, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, hot air balloons. It's past now. It's not. I don't see it in front of me anymore, so it's gone overhead. But yeah, swinging heights. That's something I don't care for at all. I try to. Oh, Melvin's here too. Hi, Melvin. Hi, Melvin. Yeah, it's swinging heights is not something that I'm into either. For the most part, I am keep my feet on the ground kind of girl. I like bungalows even. When it comes to houses, my favorite house is the American bungalow. Why? Because it's on the ground, right? Because it's not on the ground. Things like just crash. Like look what happened to that apartment block in the States and all those people, right? 15 floors just disappeared, right? And all those people. That was incredible, and that was heartbreaking. So it makes me a little bit nervous. Like I really love the view. I love my big picture window. It's a little apartment. It's inexpensive. It's just what I need on a great bus route. Um, but I want more, right? I want more. I want a better life. I want people to see me have a good life, because this is what it's all about. Me making choices for me to have a better life, have an enjoyable life, to have a life that's worth living. I was talking about it today on my Instagram that there were people in my life who gave up on themselves, right? that didn't make it in this lifetime. And if they knew it was kind of a journey up the soul, right? That they would have stuck around, and they would have, because they were close, that they were beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. But like everybody had insecurities and had problems and issues, just like everybody else. But, sometimes it's a little bit overbearing, right? It's a little bit much sometimes for some people. And yeah, people just, it's people just don't want to be around. But if you knew it's a journey for yourself, that, right, like all that work, all that magic that Andrew has, right? Like that intellect and that file system of a brain that he has. That's your gift, Andrew. That's your gift from God. And that is for your movement forward, right? And I'm so grateful that you share that with the people who come and hang out with us on Sunday nights, Andrew. Right? We all have our gifts. And the way Owen always holds people up, always thinking of others before he's thinking of himself. He can go through his whole week, right, feeling miserable and depressed and down in the dumps. And then he shows up Sunday night and he spreads his sunshine, right? Well, it's true, Andrew. 100% it's true. But sometimes we don't see these things about ourselves, right? I'm really sorry, guys, but I'm going to have to close my window here. We're in the midst of a heat wave, and I'm sure most of you have heard about it here in Canada. All across the country, it's really, really hot. Forgive me, I couldn't take it anymore. I need that air. I'm just going to turn this around just a speck. And yeah, you guys, that feels okay. It feels absolutely amazing. Let me know if it's okay in the comments that I have this fan on. If it interferes too much, maybe I could just have it on for just 1 minute and then I'll turn it off. I'm not a crybaby. I can sit amongst that. But it's also the whir, right? The whir of the noise. I really, really like this, right? And it blocks out a lot of the bumps in the night, right? The bumps of the night that can keep us up. And I'm such a good sleeper, I think, because of it. I keep the fan beside my bed too, so I have that whirring in my face. But the thing is, my cat enjoys it. Every day this week, I've been getting the paper towel out and I've been soaking the paper towel with wet water. And then I call my cat and then I rub my cat with these big gob of soaking wet paper towel, and she lays in front of the fan and it cools her off, right? And yeah, hopefully not for too long. I hope that BC gets some rain without the thunder and lightning, just some good rain. Here in Manitoba, yeah, give us that rain. We don't want things to dry up too much. I know the rivers are at an all-time low right now. And that's the way it is in a lot of places in the world right now, right? In a lot of places are suffering with water, and the climates are changing, right? So the places that we lived that were comfortable and beautiful and we moved to because such had amazing weather, because of global warming, these climates are changing right now. These landscapes are changing right now. So it makes it difficult, right? Actually, you guys, I have my rocks in a plastic container and I actually double taped it all the way around, and I shake them. I do little exercises with this thing because I can't have the machine on, but I want to make my polished rocks, right? And so I do this little dance in the living room and I shake my rocks, and I do it twice a day, and I dance and I shake my rocks. I might get another jar and do the same thing so that I can have two of them. It would be really, really good exercise. And I go shake, 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 shake your booty, and I dance around the living room, right? For a little bit of exercise. But I'm going to make my own polished stones, you guys, and I want to make sure that you guys all get them. I have Mother Mary sitting here to be mailed off. I got Owen's, and I've got Nancy's magic wand, and she's moving on. Nancy's moving on, and she's doing different things in her life, right? Trying to pull herself forward and everything. And I'm very proud of her. And every once in a while, she'll pop in and she'll say her hellos and stuff. But people will move in and out of our lives on a consistent basis, right? That's why it amazes me so much that I have people like Owen and Melvin and Andrew, right? Like I have these, right? When Kathy shows up and Mukau, our Dave, right? Our Dave. And where's Angry Birds tonight, right? Where's our Angry Birds who fills up our conversations? I don't know. Maybe I missed his comment last week saying that he wouldn't show up. And you know what? His conversations have actually been a little bit more understandable. And I really, really appreciate that Andrew has been making them feel very comfortable and welcomed into our lives. And I really appreciate that you guys don't let it interfere with your conversations when you come into the lives too, right? Oh yeah. So hot. So hot. And yet I was going to go bottle digging today, but today I thought, you know what? It's so hot. Tomorrow, better chance of a little bit of rain. Maybe it'll cool off a little bit. Today I could get the laundry done. I can get my floors done. I can get practice with the camera, make sure that's all sorted out, go through this big bag of camera gear that I still got to go through. Yeah, I washed my dishes. I'm getting things done. And I want to move forward. And sometimes we think we're not moving forward, but just even our everyday lives, right? If we can't make those great big giant moves in the moment, like right now, I'm planning this big trip in September. But most part of planning this trip is saving the money. Well, in saving the money, I have to find other ways to provide entertainment and joy into my life. Because, right, it's not fun saving money because you're not getting that instant gratification. And that is something I really think is important in my life, right? To enjoy my life as I go along. So, you know what? Maybe tonight I'll go for a little bit of a walk. And tomorrow maybe I'll go bottle digging. But for the most part today, I was taking in lessons. I did a really good live show this afternoon on my Instagram, Sunday nights, right? Hanging out with you guys on Sunday nights and really starting to enjoy and getting comfortable in my new settings, right? Because that was a really scary year that I went through last year. You know, I'm so grateful that you guys hung out with me and you didn't judge all that hairy, scary mess and all that panic mode, right? Maybe that was my anxiety. Maybe I should be going back on some of those videos to see how I actually did handle those situations that I had gotten myself in. I do know it wasn't fun not having electricity, and I knew it was embarrassing running an extension cord from the hallway of the apartment block and then heating myself covered up in a blanket with a toaster plugged in. Like, seriously. But it was an adapt and conquer situation in the middle of a very cold -40 degrees on those few days that I went without electricity. And again, I'm grateful for the help, right? And it's not that I'm inconsiderate or thoughtless or anything. But, you know, I thought those were kindnesses, right? Those were kindnesses. And I'm very grateful for them. So yeah, I just wanted to keep that in mind as I move forward, that it wasn't a job that I did by myself, right? Lots of people held me up openly and gratefully, like Andrew did last year, helping me out last year. And that was a surprise. It was a surprise and very thoughtful and came at the most, could have come at a better time in my life than what it did, because it helped me emotionally more than anything else, right? And I never talked about it or anything, but you know, kindnesses are things that we all need, right? At some point. And some of my greatest movements came from people who actually did the kindness of believing in me, right? And when somebody believes in you, it kind of gives you permission maybe to maybe try and believe in yourself, right? And move forward a little bit. And yeah, it's basically what I've been doing. Let's see what you guys are yapping about. Yeah, 100%, Andrew. It doesn't mean anybody's right or wrong. It's just people move on, right? People get the lessons and they move on. Some of my best relationships were very short lived, right? But impacted my life positively. Oh my goodness, lessons that I will never ever forget, right? And actually take on as my own and live by my own life this way too, by these ways that they live. But unless I actually interacted with them, I wouldn't have known that they had these special traits about themselves, right? What are you talking about? Oh, wow. Isn't that exciting? When did they do that, Andrew? When did they ring the bell? Was it recently in the news? That's really interesting. Oh, the Fitzgerald. Is that a nice car, Andrew? The Chrysler Norseman? Is it a rare vehicle? My favorite vehicle that I ever owned myself was a Toyota Celica, 1977 Toyota Celica. I said if I ever made it big that I was just going to get a little convertible one and just soup it right up. It was a tiny little car, and I was such a big woman, but I loved that car literally to death, right? Literally. Mm. But you never know. That would be interesting if they did bring it up, right, Andrew? Yeah, all my notifications right now. Yeah, yeah, I couldn't believe all the Mexicans actually came up and are helping right now. The Mexicans are helping right now in BC. They actually volunteered their time to work alongside the British Columbia firefighters and help out with those fires going on. Whole cities are disappearing. People's homes are gone forever. And after just coming out of that terrible, terrible couple of years, right? Yeah, what did I say? It was going going to be a little bit of a Blade Runner kind of life, right? Or what was that movie? AI. I think it was just called AI, Artificial Intelligence. It was called about a little robot boy, right? Who well gets himself into an adventure moving forward. Yeah, if you haven't seen that one, 100% Melvin, you know all my camping gear would fit into my Jeep Rubicon, right? And I'm looking forward, like I want that space in that walk-in closet. It's all camping gear, all of it. I got a great big monster box full. I've got my sleeping bags in there, and my new ones too. I've got my stove, my camp stove in there. My coolers are in there. My pop-up tent is in there. My camping chairs are are in there. Oh my goodness. And then I have all my, the stuff that you keep beside your chair, like your bug sprays and your bug bite creams and your all the things for that too. I've got lots of camping. I got tons of camping gear, but I'd like to use my vehicle to keep it all stored, because it's not something that needs to be in my apartment, right? It could be stored in my vehicle, but I need a vehicle, right? I'm trying to think, right? I know that I'm shooting for the stars when I say I want my Jeep Rubicon. I'm shooting for the stars, and I'm not stopping, wishing, and focusing on that vehicle. But at the same time, I want to be realistic. What can I do realistically right now? While I'm looking at the Dodge Nitro, you guys can Google that one to see what it looks like. The Dodge Nitro. They discontinued that vehicle in 2011, but if you can get one, they're usually safety because they're very durable vehicles. They really hold up really well. And they're a meaty kind of truck, the kind of truck that Cindy really likes. And I've always been fond of the Nitro. Even when it first came out, I wanted a Nitro. I really was, right? It didn't stick around for very long. I don't know why. I really like the Nitro. But they're very inexpensive right now, right? So for a 2009, 2010 Dodge Nitro, I could probably get for $7,000 or $8,000 safety, right? Now I know I can come up for $1,000 because that's what I'm planning on using to pay for my car rental, right? And the gas. But what if I could use that $1,000 as a down payment on a Dodge Nitro, so that I don't have to give the vehicle up when I get back to Winnipeg, that I can carry on with the adventures, right? That this is just building on that momentum of getting started again, right? Getting back on the road, building up momentum, right? Reaching some of these goals that I wanted to set up for myself. If I could get to the point where I could make enough that I could hire an editor, that would be an absolute, miracle to be able to hire an editor, right? I would absolutely love to do that. I could do so much if I had an editor, but I could do so much if I had a vehicle too. So yes, I am looking at the Dodge Nitro, and I'm still looking out my window for the Jeep Rubicon, right? Wrangler Unlimited 2021 with the big bull bars, the great big monster tires, all chromed out with the strip lighting, fog lights up on top of the roof. Yeah, that's my vehicle. It's a lovely vehicle, and it would do me well on the back roads. It's something that you guys can be certain that I would be safe when I'm out there, because I like to spend a lot of time on my own, that when I do go out on the road, like I like to spend time with self, right? I like a nice, calm, happy, contentful kind of atmosphere, right? And that's a little bit of a joy that my dad brought, right? It was always fun. When my dad said road trip, I was in, no question. I was in every time. My dad would come out with the best adventures forever, right? And we'd always stop in those motels where you put a quarter in the bed and the bed would shake, right? It would massage you. That was lots of fun. And he always made a point of going to see historic sites. He would, he would take us to, I remember going to see that mountain with the presidents. What was the mountain? Not Yosemite, though we have been to Yosemite. It was with Roosevelt, the mountains, you guys. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But we went to those mountains. I remember on our way to Reno, going up Mount Shasta and the radiator overheating, and us having to spend a few hours way up in the mountains. And it was middle of summer, but there was snow everywhere. So we had to melt snow to make water to add to the radiator to get us to the closest town, right? Because our water heater kept overheating. I remember going to Cincinnati because I remember in my mind's eye the arch over the river. I remember that. I remember lots of these roadside attractions that we would stop at. Oh, but the restaurants. Oh my goodness. Stopping for breakfast at Smitty's restaurant, right? Stopping for breakfast in these restaurants. It's the only time I'm allowed to have bread, like actual loaf of bread. Well, I wouldn't have a whole loaf of bread, but when I go to a restaurant and have bacon and eggs or sausages and eggs are my breakfast, right? Sausages and eggs. But then I can have toast and peanut butter. in a restaurant. That's the only time I'm allowed to have toast and peanut butter is if I go into a restaurant, right? I've been craving toast and peanut butter. I could save so much money if I could go back and just live on what I love. And what I love was toast and peanut butter. Oh my goodness, I could eat a whole loaf of bread in one day with peanut butter. And I love my peanut butter toast burnt, right? Raisin toast, if I could help it, raisin burnt toast with peanut butter. Yum, delicious. Yeah. Been a long time since I had peanut butter. I would say for peanut butter, probably a year. Probably a year now since I've had peanut butter. Like I said, I only have peanut butter when I go to a restaurant. I haven't been to a restaurant for breakfast in ages and ages. But like I said, if I do go to a restaurant, Mount Rushmore, 100% Andrew. It's Mount Rushmore. Yeah, 100%. And I think about these things too, right? Even in mentorship and helping people get determined and show people how to set goals and how to achieve their goals, right? Because you guys know from the goals that I have set before that I always accomplish my goals. If I commit to something, and this is how I get things done, you guys, this is a good tip for you guys, right? Um, I get things done by committing to them, right? I've committed to this trip to go mining for amethyst. I'm committed to it. I'm doing it, right? And this is how I get things done because once I give my word, once I committed to something, then I have to follow through. I have to follow through to the best of my ability. I may fail, but it won't be failing because I didn't try, right? I always try. Yeah, always try. Oh, I love pancakes, Andrew. Oh my goodness. Pancakes is another thing I had to give up, right? Because I only gave up bread, right? So I do bagels, English muffins, I'll do crackers, right? I do things like this. But I still take my carbs in. But specifically the bread, right? Because I love bread. I love bread. And if I eliminate bread, it wasn't my plan to give up peanut butter, but I was addicted to peanut butter toast, right? So by eliminating the bread, there was no point in the peanut butter, even though I do like a gob of peanut butter on a banana. Peanut butter, banana, big gob of peanut butter on banana. Yum. That's delicious, right? But yeah, I love pancakes for sure. But yeah, I'm a sausage basted medium, sausage basted medium, shredded hash browns with diced onions fried into them, right? With rye toast and peanut butter, or even white toast. Yeah, I'm celebrating, but I don't get to have toast very often. White toast with peanut butter, extra peanut butter. What a great breakfast. It's a nice fresh cup of coffee, a couple of them with the waitress at the table as soon as I'm down to my last drop of coffee, offering me a second. My mother always said the tip to the waitress was always dependent on whether she came around and offered a second cup of coffee. That was my mother's idea of when to tip, right? Yeah. And there were periods, that's how come even me being a good tipper, the amount of money that I would give away tipping people, right? Because I remember as a server, as a bartender, how well I was tipped. Like I had people who would give me $100 for a bottle of beer and say, keep the change, right? My husband gave me a $20 bill. The first time I met him, he gave me a $20 bill on a $2 bottle of beer, right? And said, keep the change. I was so excited because I was probably at a bad VLT day or something. Oh no, VLTs didn't come out until after me and my husband were together for a while. We were engaged when VLTs first came out. I actually played them before they actually made it to Manitoba because me and my husband we traveled to New Brunswick to introduce me to his family, right? Because we had just gotten engaged, and he wanted me to meet his family before we got married, and so yeah, it was very very interesting because when we got to New Brunswick, I didn't realize that people spoke French and didn't speak English there, that French was the first language out there. I found that really interesting. They could say things like hello and thank you and how are you, but things that were very, very simple. I found that to be very curious, right? But yeah, my husband wanted me to meet his family. So we went out to New Brunswick, but it was an amazing, amazing trip. 100%. All the things I love the most technically are not good for me. They keep pounding it into us that it's not good for us. But you got to remember, Andrew, by taking that advice, right? Okay, maybe it's not the greatest thing for you to be eating some of these items, but you got to remember when you eat them, you have to keep that happy mindset. You have to thoroughly enjoy it. You have to bring that joy into having this thing that you love so much that you were actually going to eat it despite that it wasn't nutritious for you, right? So sometimes these things are more dangerous to us emotionally than they are physically, right? You know? There are lots of things that you could eat that are bad for you, but some things, they might not do you any damage, except maybe give you a little bit of tummy tuck. Like if you like strawberries and all you ate was strawberries, right? You'd have pretty loose stools, but that would be pretty much it, right? There, you would only get the little bit of nutrients from those strawberries, and even though they're good for you, the way you're eating them, right, is not good for you either, because that might be the only good thing that you're eating. So you have to have a good mix, but most importantly is your emotional well-being. And I think sometimes that we can beat ourselves up, and I understand this because I was that fat person, right, who always beat myself up after I ate a 6-pack of donuts, or I went to Safeway and I picked up some box of pastry that should have lasted me a week, and it didn't even last me an hour, right? And I still do this stuff because it's that instant gratification, right? That instant gratification. And I try to stop. I don't do a very good job of it, right? But I don't think I do as bad as a job as I used to. Why? Because of the lessons, because I understand how important it is to enjoy life and not to beat myself up because somebody else's perspective says that I should beat myself up because this isn't healthy. Because if you've already got it in your mouth, you have to enjoy it thoroughly. You have to smile and enjoy it, right? Because that's what it is. There's a reason why they call it comfort food, right? Because it makes you feel comfort. And this is a great weakness, I think, right? Because of the weaknesses that we could choose for ourselves, the habits that we could choose for ourselves to help calm our systems, right? And that's how I use food. I use these foods that I enjoy eating all the time as ways to calm my system. If I have a bad day at work, knowing that I can come home and I can whip up some frozen cookies, or have some jello in the fridge, or whatever it is, whatever treat that I wanted. What treat did I have today? I'm trying to think what I had today. I had hot dogs today. They were really good too, right? Enjoy them. Enjoy the little treats that come along the way. And if you know what a wiener is processed, I don't watch those videos, but people are always sending, Cindy, do you know how a wiener is made? You should watch one of those videos on YouTube to see exactly how a wiener is made. I don't care. I don't care about looking at a video that's going to turn me off of something that I absolutely love. Because I absolutely love a great big barbecue wiener. 100% I do. Yum, yum. Just thinking about it makes me want to have a hot dog. Right? And that's what it is. It's your emotional relationship to the food. So even if it is not good for you, you guys, even if it's not good for you and it made it to you, it made it into your gut, feel good about it. Think about how much you enjoyed that. And then just say to yourself, you know what? If I'm really good for the whole month, if I could stick to my diet for the whole month, we are going to go to that great Sunday, great ice cream shop, and we're going to have the biggest sundae ever with the hot fudge and the peanuts. Oh, yeah. I love a good sundae, too. I love ice cream. I never had ice cream in the past couple of weeks now. It's a couple of weeks. At least a week I haven't had any ice cream. That is a downfall for me. And dairy doesn't do very well by me, number one. It really does a job on my system. But I love ice cream. But when I'm eating ice cream, I am aware that I shouldn't be eating it. And that guilt and shame does try to come to the surface. It still does try to surface and try and make me feel bad for eating the ice cream, but I just push it away. I just say, no, I'm going to enjoy this 100%. I'm just going to enjoy it. Yeah. You have to have the treats, you guys. You have to find ways to calm your system, things that are for you, right? Things that make you feel good. And lots of people, they pick bad habits. You know they do. They pick bad habits to help calm their systems, right? Whether they become a hoarder, right? Maybe they become a drug addict or an alcoholic, or they become compulsive about exercise, or they become compulsive about food. They become compulsive about hurting people or allowing themselves to be hurt, right? There are lots of ways and lots of habits that aren't good for us, but we just have to remember that in those moments, they're meant to be there to calm your system. So you should enjoy them in the moment. And after the moment is over, right, just say, right, you needed that. And if you needed some more, right, try and make a little goal. Say, well, okay, if you make it to here, maybe we'll do this again, right? The things like I do, I go for walks, I go for bike rides, I go bottle digging, I go for drives, I try and get out with Mother Nature and connect with Mother Nature in different ways. I like to be online with you guys on Sunday nights. That's calming to my soul, right? To have these conversations and hook up and right, just hang out with each other and support each other on these Sundays. Did I ever smoke, Melvin? Yes, I certainly did smoke. I started smoking when I was 27 years old. I specifically started smoking so that I could get a habit that would take my mind off of food. I was 311 pounds, and I decided to take up smoking at 27 years old to see if it would work. Now I smoked until I was 30. I smoked probably for 10 years. And I did rolly cigarettes because I couldn't afford packages of cigarettes. Well, there was a time where I was a waitress and I was making good money, so I would buy cigarettes. But my husband was a smoker too, right? My husband was a smoker too, so it was cheaper for us to pick up tobacco, right? Big bonus tin, and I would just roll a couple of packages of cigarettes, one for him and one for me, every day, just to help us keep into budget, because $300 a month for cigarettes is not acceptable. And if you have two people smoking, that's $600 a month. And I worked in a bar. There were lots of people mooching cigarettes and stuff. So you couldn't be giving out cigarettes all the time. And yeah, so I smoked for 10 years. My sister Tracy, I mentioned one time that I would love to quit smoking. I used to say it all the time. I'd go to bed at night saying, that's my last cigarette. And then I'd wake up in the morning, and what would I do? I would have a cigarette, right? I would have a cigarette. And it became a crutch. It became something that calmed my system down, the smoking. It was something that worked very, very well for me. Actually, I was able to keep some weight off during this time, right? But Yeah, I couldn't do it forever. I mentioned to my sister about it, and one Christmas she gave me all 3 steps on the patch, and she put them in my Christmas stocking. So there was no excuse for me not to try to quit seriously because it was the first time I actually quit. Like I said, I would go to bed at night and say, that's my last cigarette. But when I woke up in the morning, I always had a cigarette. But about, how long has it been? Oh, long before I started YouTube even, right? And these things, these habits, and this is how they come into my life. They pop into my life and then they just disappear. Somehow they just disappear, right? And then I pick up something else, it seems. But yeah, it's had to have been more than 10 years now since I quit smoking. That since she put those patches in my stocking, and it was so easy to quit on the patch. It was so easy to quit smoking on the patch. And that was the last time I remembered that I used to be able to dream. I don't remember being able to dream too much after that, right? I don't dream at all now. I don't think I dream anyway. And if I do dream, certainly don't remember dreaming. And I haven't remembered dreaming for years and years and years now. But I do remember when I took the patch that I was dreaming because that was one of the main symptoms is I had fantastic dreams on the patch. And the first day of the patch, it's hard. The first day, 24 hours, you want to kill, right? But then you settle right in. Your system settles right in, and you just continue with the patch for 2 weeks. Then you start the next step down, which is less nicotine in the patch. And for the first day, you want to kill. But you just do your 1 day, and then after that, the patch kicks in, and you're good for another 2 weeks, right? And then you step down the third time, and you have a little bit of but you've got it by now. And I didn't even make it through the first week of the third patch, and I was done with smoking, right? But at the same time, being done with smoking, I didn't drink anymore either because it was so easy when you drink to go outside after you've had a few drinks and have somebody say, "Oh, do you want a cigarette?" And then you'd be smoking again, especially when I was working in the bar, right? I used to joke only smokers got breaks because I never got breaks after that. I was so busy trying to show everybody how amazing I was, multitasking, cross-training myself, being the cream of the crop, right? Just crazy when I think about it, how I held on to some of these jobs that weren't holding on to me, and yet I stuck to them, right? I just suffered through them, right? I should have moved on from some of these jobs a lot sooner than I did. And I should have had a better mindset. I should have had a better sense of mindfulness about my life and the relationships that I had and the relationships that I wanted to have. And yet I was a little bit behind. And we were talking a little bit about this when I was talking about evolution on my Instagram this morning. I was talking about, evolution, how all this going on right now, I'm convinced is our next stage of evolution, that we are in the midst of it right now. Like there was modern man and Cro-Magnon man, right? Then there was Neanderthal before that. This is just the next physical stage of evolution, right? And I'm thinking now, what would they call the next stage? They call us modern man, but what would be the next stage of evolution? What man would they call it then? And then I named it conscious man, right? Conscious man, right? Because everybody's conscious now. Everybody sees things for what they are. Everybody's masks are down. There's no hiding. You can't hide yourself, right? Everything comes to the surface now. So I thought this was conscious man. Even big companies and stuff are very conscious now, right? See how Coca-Cola, who is a big contributor of sugar addiction and stuff, and all the good things they do for the world and helping people's movement and helping the world's movement now, right? But they've been doing it for decades and decades. You remember that song, like I said early in my Instagram live this morning, that that song in the 70s, I'd like to teach the world to sing, and they'd have all those different nationalities holding hands in a big field on a big hilltop, right? Singing and swaying and singing this song of hope, right? It had nothing to do with pop, had nothing to do with the sugar in the pop, but they were making it, right? They understood pop was not a great thing for people, it wasn't healthy. But what was in another way that they could contribute? And they found a way, right, in promoting togetherness, right? Oneness. Yeah, and that's going all the way back into the 70s, right? I remember that commercial. Yeah, I always wonder if some of these lessons that I got with my mother were actually me just butting heads with her because I was so independent and because I could clearly see how messed up things were, that I wasn't being suckered into some of these ideas and some of these intentions that were projected on me, right? It's hard to say. Maybe there were. I'm certain that there were hard lessons, right? There were hard lessons with my mother. But again, I think if I had done it anything, any way differently than the way I did it, right? I wouldn't be sitting here right now, chit chatting with everybody, having this conversation with you, right? Moving myself forward and holding other people up that might have been in the same situation, maybe not the exact same, because none of you really want to be entrepreneurs. None of you are setting goals in this time of life, right? But this is exciting for me. I love adventures. I love all kinds of different landscapes in life. And this is another different landscape, and I'm having fun with it, and I'm learning from it, and it's doing me good. It's doing me good, and I'm moving forward, right? In evolution, I've been welcomed to this party, and I'm grateful for that. But at the same time, I'm moving with all of you guys too, and isn't it amazing that we get to do this journey together, right? Yeah, absolutely amazing. Of course you have, Owen, 100%. You matured early, right? And you did mature well. And you deserve all the happiness that could possibly enter into your life, right? It's amazing that you provide service, right? It's an easy end for people that are caregivers. It really truly is, right? Because you're helping others in their movement, other people carrying and moving forward, even if it's just in baby steps. 100%. 100%, Andrew. 100%. 100%. You are. And this comes to your gift too, and the way you show it, and the way you share it on my lives every Sunday night. 100%. You are a mentor to all of us, Andrew. I am honored to know you. I'm honored to know Owen. I'm honored that you, everybody here that pops into my lives, that pop in and say hello, right? That keep company with me on Sunday nights, right? The kindness is in giving me the thumbs up, right? When you pop into my lives, and the kindness is in the comments below, and your patience with me when I talk about these back road and how I miss being on the road and being with Mother Nature and stuff, right? That you actually stick with me and you trust that if I say it's going to happen, I'm going to make it happen. And that's half the fun, right? Half the fun. Sometimes we live vicariously through others. Sometimes we do, right? But this is part of being a spectator, right? As well as a teacher. And I know every single one of the people that come and hang out with me are spectators and they're teachers, 100%. Okay, everybody. I guess that's my life for this week. I hope everybody's having a good week. I really hope everybody is managing. Uh, 2 full moons in the next couple of months. We just gotten over one. Things are moving a little bit, but it's painful, isn't it? We're coming out of the coronavirus, and lots of us have gotten our vaccinations and ready to get back to some normalcy, understanding that things are going to be difficult for a little while, but it's our choices, right, in moving forward, in the choice that we are going to move forward, that we are important, that we are a part of this, right, that we're a part of this movement, that we, right, even though that we might still be modern man, that maybe in the next life we will be conscious man, right? Okay, everybody, that's it for tonight. Show you my crystal one more time. Wasn't that amazing that I scored that at work? It's so beautiful. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to dig amethyst crystals. I'm going mining, you guys. Can you believe it? I'm going mining. And that's a promise that you could drop in your pocket 100%. Okay, everybody. That's it for tonight. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.